Hey,
Hey, long time no see.
I know, I know. All right, we're live, and it's going to be me and Erin today. I think we're just going to probably do a bunch of these, Erin. I think it's a good
hmm
idea of you and I just talking and sharing all kinds of great knowledge for free for
For
people.
the free. We've got a lot of thoughts, so I
Yeah,
think it'll be good to share them.
that's good. Yeah, and we talk a lot, so that helps.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
putting it to good use now.
Yeah, absolutely. So today's topic is, the top five things that both you and I think that agents should do daily, and that could be new agents or old or struggling agents, but what they should do daily. So top five. I didn't put any of mine in order. Like number
Mm-mm.
one is this. Although I think my number one probably starts there, but and then we didn't discuss ours, right? So we didn't even combine notes.
Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite part. So we came up with the overall topic and then
Mhm.
just said, all right, we're going to talk about it. But we haven't compared anything. So it's going to
Yeah,
be a surprise. Y'all might end up with more than five if we have different ones or something, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay.
Yep, that's right. So, all right. Before we start, look, I know a lot of people out there know Erin, obviously, in our market. I mean, she's a top agent. But I told her I was going to brag a little bit on her, and she was like, oh, no. One, she's pregnant.
I'll close my laptop. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
one,
kidding.
she's pregnant, though. There's the second baby, which is great, right? Two
Yeah.
boys you're going to have.
Yeah, two boys running around the rest of my life.
I know. Oh, my God, my boy is crazy. So, everybody, keep her in your thoughts with two boys. Although Lucas is really the best child I think I've ever seen.
He's my angel. Oh, he's so
Yeah,
sweet.
take that ball. I know. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So, all right. So she's pregnant. She's still working hard, obviously, in real estate. We've been partnered together since like what October of 2020.
February. So this coming up
February. That's
February
right.
will be 2 years. Yeah.
October of 2020 is when you started. That's October.
That's my reset date.
Yep, that's right. So February. So and then Aaron, since from February of last year to December last year, what'd you do? 25 deals?
hmm Yep. 25.
18?
I think it was 24 or 25. I was scraping by because I had some that were gonna close and then got pushed to right
Mm-hmm.
after the New Year. So I don't remember the
Mm-hmm.
exact number, but
Yep. And that was your first year in real
my
estate.
first
I
full year.
mean, holy crap. So 25 deals, man. Every time I teach classes in EXP and all the I always tell that story about you, and they're like 25?
Huh?
Yeah,
What?
and I'm serious. They probably think I'm lying or exaggerating. I'm like, I'm not. I'm telling the truth. And then out of those 25, do you remember how many you listed? What was it?
I think
17?
it ended up being more than half because
Mm-hmm.
at first, whenever I was gaining momentum, it was a lot of buyers because they were the ones that were coming to me. And that was my comfort zone. And then once it clicked. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do listings now. And then some buyers that I have coming along the way. So I think it ended up being over half of them were listings.
And then now this year, you're on pace to probably close.
So my goal was to do 50 and I don't think I'm going to reach that, but you always want to set your goal for, the
Mhm.
stars, you want to shoot for a little bit higher. That way you can come at least close to that. But I think I'm going to be around 40,
Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
And you say that like that's
Like,
bad, like 40
darn
houses. Yeah.
it.
Cool. And your second year. So that is
Mhm.
crazy. So 2 years, probably 60 something deals. Man, that's a lot of deals. So that's great. And
There's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of changes between now and then too. Like so much has gone on, the team leader position and all that kind of
Yep.
thing.
Yep. Yeah. So tell us about that. So obviously, Erin, she brought that up, but Erin is our first team leader that we've ever had on our team. And she has done excellent. The other agents on our team do really well with her and look, all of them are producing at a at a great at a great level. And like I
Mhm.
said, it goes to show you that what Erin has done and takes the time to help the other agents and what she's done with them is really helped their progress.
I love it. I love it because I've always had opinions. And so being able to guide that into, once you learn the business and start getting your footwork, in there, to be able to help other agents also helps myself. So I get more confident in my abilities once I've seen somebody take what I say and run with it, and it works for them, and I see them get their listings and help them with their transactions. It gives me a boost as
Mhm.
well. So it just overall works out for everybody. I love it.
It does. That's a great point too, is, when you're leading and then you could, you're directing or guiding or mentoring, right? You always
Mhm.
want them to do well. And you know that what you're telling them should have them do well, right? So then
Mhm.
obviously when things start rolling that way, it is a good feeling. It really is. It's weird.
It
That
is.
feels better than my success when I could see that.
Mhm.
So,
It's like, look at them go. I love
like
it.
kids, but they're not, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you're
you're not
not
kids,
old enough
but
to
it feels
be
like it.
dad for most of you, but I mean, ultimately, you guys are still young. But it is. It's like having kids. You see them grow and you
Mhm.
go off with the real world, the real estate. You do
Go
well.
fly, be
Yeah,
free.
yeah.
But not free, you're on the team. Yeah.
Go.
Don't leave us.
Spread your wings. Spread your
Spread
wings.
your wings.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with our topic today.
Okay.
Right. So what the top 5 things they should do daily. So me and Aaron believe that these things you should do every day as an agent. Doesn't mean if you don't do them, you're going to be not successful, but based on our experience and like Aaron's early success, these are things I think if you are an agent out there, you probably should take notes on and maybe implement it. It could help you.
Mhm.
So that's really what this is about, is trying to help other agents um, that are out there that may be struggling or don't understand how the business works. So, all
Mhm.
right. So I'm going to start with mine. My number one is kind of simple, but it's show up to blow up is what I say. Right? Like first, I mean, obviously you got to show up to your job. You got to,
Mhm.
if you don't show up to your job, you're not going to get paid. So in real estate, if you don't show up and get involved in real estate, it's very hard to get going for most
Mhm.
people. It just doesn't work from home, unless you're established already and you have a lot of SOI and friends that are buying and selling, or you got a builder that or you're
Mhm.
married in. Being a new agent, you got to really show up to blow up. So that's my number one. And when you show up, like I said, most agents work transactional, right? Like a
Mhm.
lot of them only show up and work when they have something. Oh, I've got a buyer, I've got a seller.
Mhm.
They don't
I
show
have
up.
to go pick up a check. I have to go do this
Right.
and then call it a day. I worked today.
That's
I did
right. Yeah, they're
it.
not working to get more business
Mhm.
and generate their pipeline going. So that's what I mean. Show up to blow up. All
You
right,
wanna
what
know
do
what's
you got, Aaron?
you wanna know what's funny? Number 1 on mine, go to work. Show up for yourself and your business.
Yep,
That's my
weird.
number 1. We didn't compare these, you guys.
Yeah, so that's weird, but yeah, I mean, I guess it starts there, right? If
Mhm.
I just think it's pretty funny, but I mean, it's one of those things that Erin now, even in 2 years, she has seen like it's hard to get people to understand that. They just, for some reason, they believe that they're going to get the real estate license and
Mhm.
boom, they're going to be selling houses, making a lot of money, driving fancy cars, buying big houses, buying boats,
Mhm.
and most of them struggle. They're
Yep.
barely making it. They sell about 6 a year. That's the average. You know, um,
That's why it ended up being both of our number 1s is because we see every day how that's the hardest thing for even not even just new agents, just agents in general to overcome. They're their own
yeah,
worst enemy. They're like,
yes,
"No, I did a whole lot yesterday," and I think that and this is not against anybody, like, it just happens even if they don't realize they're doing it. "I did a whole lot yesterday, I'm just gonna stay home today," or "I'm just gonna
mhm,
work from home today."
yep,
Things like that, and they say they're gonna do it and then end up doing bare
right,
minimum. That's why you have to show up. Even if it doesn't, I wanted to go into that a little bit too. If it does end up being from home, you have to go to work still. So not just, sitting on the couch, snacking, things like that. Set up
yep,
some time, get yourself into the right mindset to be at work. So I have to have a designated space to do things because I have a 3 almost 4-year-old and a baby on the way. There is no way that I would be able to work from home unless I had somebody watching them in a separate room, something like that. And
yep,
I know that's going to be the reality for a lot of people. So when it comes to showing up, you're going to have to show up, even if it's at home with your family, things like that.
yep. Absolutely. Keep it in. Go. I'm going to show it. Show
Show
up.
up. Look at that.
Yep. All right. So we both agree there. I just think that,
Mhm.
it's basically a myth in real estate that you can get your license and you could be flexible. That's what we hear. Erin now is
Mhm.
we've talked to agents, you know, I don't know how many times, and that's what you always hear. Flexible, flexible. And then flexibility is not really what they're thinking, and they shouldn't be thinking that way. They should be thinking being disciplined and consistent and doing certain things, and then
Mhm.
the flexibility comes after that, though, after,
Mhm.
not before it. But they're
Yeah.
already leaning in and thinking the flexibility to start their career, and then it ends pretty fast.
Mhm. And it shouldn't be flexible so that I can do less. It should be flexible so that I can do more. It means
Yep.
if 9 o'clock at night, there's things I can be looking up. There's research that
Mhm.
can be done. There's calls to be prepped for the next day. You're not
Yep.
going to call these people at 9 p.m., but you can still, it's flexible in a way that should benefit your business, not hinder
Right.
it.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and the flexibility comes obviously the better you get and the more consistent you are, that's going to allow you to go to, oh, I got to go get a shirt at, Ross or whatever, and then you head
Mhm.
over there. But now you're disciplined enough to know, okay, I took an hour over here and I ate lunch here.
Mhm.
I got to get some activities done, to now get my
Right.
business going, and you're able to implement that when you can. Could be a
Mhm.
Saturday, could be a Sunday, could be late at night, like you said, but that's a flexibility there. But that's
Mhm.
not what usually happens. So,
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
all right. So your number one was basically the same as my
The
number. All right,
same
you start
thing.
number two.
Mhm.
What do you have for number two?
All
Please.
right. Number two, you're going to like this one.
All
Okay.
right.
Dress like you're about to meet a very important client today because you might. You
That's
might. You
right.
should. You should hope every day that you're going to meet a very important client for the first time. All of our clients are important, so don't get that wrong. But just know that you could be meeting somebody that's going to change the route of your business. That's what you should try to do every day.
Yep.
So that's what my number two is.
Nice. Okay. I like it. So dress to impress.
Dress
Yeah.
to impress.
So with that, like I said, I did a video on this when I was in Nashville. I was at this big convention, and every one of these people that were at this convention, most of them were above me in success, and none of them wore flip flops and sandals or holy jeans and stuff like that. They came in dressed business casual or
Mhm.
business attire, for this event. And there's a reason there, right? And you always want to dress better, I truly believe, than you may need to, because you never know.
Mhm.
I know how things are, and the perception. I think what I learned at that convention was, I think it's 7 seconds, right, to make a great first impression. So,
Mhm.
maybe holy jeans or whatever the heck you think is a casual look, if it doesn't go right for you with the client, now it's going to hurt your chances. If you
Mhm.
overdress for it, it rarely hurts your chances. It may make them uncomfortable, I guess, in a certain way, to say, wow, man, you came in a suit jacket and nice shoes and
Mhm.
stuff. I'm in flip-flops or whatever. But I guarantee you, I don't think for dressing better versus you're dressing really casual, they're
Mhm.
expecting somebody of more professional. I think that would hurt you more than help you.
Right. Right, and you never know. So the whole purpose every day is to grow your business, make more money, get more,
Mhm.
the next client, that kind of thing. And so it could be that the make or break is going to be, hey, I'm only available today at this time. If you can't make that work, then I'm going to go ahead and go with this other agent I've already spoken to. I can do it
Mhm.
right now. Where
Yep.
do you want to meet me? You want to be able to be ready for that kind of thing, not have to take 45 minutes to drive home, change your clothes, get things ready, do your hair, that kind of thing. And so just be ready for those kinds of things. And like you said, it'll only help you. In no situation, I can't even think of one. In no situation is it going to come and bite you.
Right, exactly. I mean, yeah, I just think it's funny, that we obviously, we've had a discussion on this before. But
Mhm.
I think it's funny to think the opposite, oh, it's not who I am, or it's not, we're not telling you to wear suits or be so
Right.
crazy where you're totally not who you are, but you should
Yeah.
dress appropriately, I think, for your
I'm not
business.
the fanciest person in the world. I don't
Mhm,
wear makeup. I don't do
mhm,
anything to my hair. I just brush it every day, just make it look
mhm,
nice, put together, pull it back a little bit. Wear something nice that I wouldn't mind meeting somebody for the first time in. It's not
mhm.
like you said,
Yeah,
not you don't have to wear a business suit or anything like that,
right.
you know?
Eyes. Yeah, I don't wear any of that. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Mhm.
So good one. So dress to impress was good. So we got show up, basically come in every day and then dress, nice or
Mhm.
professionally, right? All right. So my number two was daily you have to lead generate. All right. So you have to focus on leads,
Yep.
right? If you cannot lead generate as a real estate agent, you cannot be in business. Okay. Now, a
Mhm.
lot of agents out there, as we know, Aaron, some are very lead dependent on where they're at. There's some
Mhm.
people I've talked to that thought about coming to EXP. They don't want to come to EXP because the firm they're at gives them a Zillow lead or so. I mean, that's how bad it is. Like,
Yeah.
if you're so dependent on that, your business is going to suffer eventually. It's just not going to,
Mhm.
you're never going to be able to have the power yourself and be able to do what you want to do with your business. So if you're not lead generating by making calls, by following up with leads, emailing, texting, whatever you're doing, if you're not lead generating daily, you're not going to be in business. That's the
Mhm.
name of the game in real estate. Have to generate leads.
Yeah, keyword being your business. So you don't want to, I mean, maybe it's like your average EXP agent saying this, but you don't want to be
Mhm.
dependent on the company because then you're their business. You're not your own business. So you want to be able to come up with your own leads, have your own path to success that doesn't depend on a company being like, oh, but how are you going to do it? How are you going to do it without me? You know, dangling it as here's a little bit more commission. How are you going to do it
Yep.
without me?
That's right. And look, and a lot of agents are joining these companies or some teams, right? And they're saying,
Mhm.
we're going to give you leads and this and that. And that's their focus. It's either they're going to get leads, that's a focus, or a commission. They're not
Mhm.
thinking like, you can make less commission somewhere, however, learn way more, and that's going to help you earn more. And then
Mhm.
eventually you're going to climb to where you are going to make like a top producer, percentage. But people just want to go from nothing and then all of a sudden make top producer money. And they don't care if they learn anything at this point. They're just trying to make money per transaction,
Mhm.
transactional, and instead of thinking long term of learning and then gaining the knowledge to make more money because they're going to sell more.
Mhm.
And then like you said, they get very reliant on the team leader or the company providing
Mhm.
certain things to them, and then if they leave, they don't know what they're doing. They
They
have
can't
no
fathom doing it without that
exactly
person or that company, that kind of thing.
right.
I have this same one in a different order. So a note that I had on it is look for your next deal. New people call daily, so lead
Mhm,
generate, and this is emphasis on the daily part, not just when you feel like it, when you're in a talkative mood, when you feel like doing
mhm,
that kind of thing.
mhm.
Each day is day zero, and this has come from you before.
Yep.
And put a number on it and stick to it. So if it's going to be 5 people every day, if it's going to be 10 people, 15, doesn't really matter what the number is, but do
Mhm,
that and commit to doing that every day so that you have a daily goal. Because I know a lot of people in real estate, if you're not in one of those brick or mortar type facilities, they're like, oh, well, what do you do? What do you do every day? Like, that's just, I can't, but if you don't have a deal, what do you have to do up at the office? So put a number on it and follow it. That's the best thing
mhm.
that you can do for your business. One of the best things you can do for your business.
Yep. And then of course you see Brittany here jumped in and said, how you look is a reflection of your business, and it really can be. Yeah. I mean, you have
Mhm.
to, going back to what we were talking about before was the dress. I missed that comment. Sorry, Brett. I was a little late. So yeah, I mean, Aaron is exactly right. Like every day in a commission based business, it's you start at zero. So
Mhm.
you've got to understand, what you did last month, is probably closing this month, right? So what's
Mhm.
going to carry you to next month? And like like Coach Burt always says, Coach Michael Burt says, how's he say it?
Wake up hungry.
Yeah, well, he says, you go to bed. I can't remember what he said, but then you wake up hungry. But he says something about like winter. It's like winters or March or spring and summer, or maybe it's fall and fall. Anyways, something like they're wondering what you've done during the winter. They're asking what you man
Oh, yeah.
is now. I'll think of it later and say it like nothing, but now I
Mm,
think of it. But it's kind of like spring and summer are asking what you did all winter. Is I think
yeah. I think
that
that I've heard something like that before.
yeah, because
Mhm,
people tend to not lead generate consistently. They're not doing certain things all the
mhm,
time, and then especially in the winter time. Right now, it's going to get holiday season. Remember, I always joke about this. And last year was kind of your first year, and then you started realizing
mhm,
like companies are shutting down like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving to prepare for Thanksgiving, or
mhm.
or for Christmas or for New Year. It's like, man,
Yeah.
you
Once
know.
November hits,
Hmm.
like mid to end November, some companies and like
Hmm.
firms, things like that, you'll have like a total of 2 or 3 weeks
Hmm.
total from November to midway through January where
Yeah.
people are there in person. You can rely on the fact that
It's
they're going to be there.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
funny.
It's like, holy crap. But
That's
all right,
okay.
so
That's okay because the people that are hitting it every day are still going to benefit.
right, your end of year takes you into this is an extra tip, right? That we teach everybody is you
Mhm.
work hard towards the end of the year because it's going to carry you into your new year, and that's going to start your numbers off great, just like you did. Some of your
Mhm.
numbers you had ready to go, you would have closed probably almost 30 in your first
Mhm.
year, but they got pushed a little. But guess what? You were so consistent and didn't affect you, and then it just carried you into the new, and then you started
Mhm.
your new year off, wham,
Yeah.
with
It
those
was.
deals,
It was a good end of year, beginning of
right?
this year.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep, yeah. So you just got to keep pushing. All right, so I'm going to go to the next one, which is number 3 for us, I think, right?
Nope, this
Um,
is number 3.
this is number 3. Okay, you started 3. All right. So my number 3 is you must stay consistent. So it sounds kind of, I guess, cliche, but you have to stay
Mhm.
consistent. That means you're showing up consistently, right? You're lead generating consistently. That would
Mhm.
be your schedule is consistent in what you do. You do certain things in the morning, then you do in the afternoon, or vice versa, whatever it is, but it's consistent. Your marketing you're doing, stay consistent with it. Every time you get a listing, you're marketing. Do market updates, do your videos, or do whatever that may be, just stay consistent with it daily and weekly.
Mhm.
That's what's going to really dictate. And then it becomes a habit, it gets to be a routine and then basically a habit. And then it's always set in stone that it's what it's going to be versus,
Mhm.
you're changing all the time.
And you
So,
have to do it internally too, so don't rely on this kinda maybe it's a little bonus too, is you have to do it within yourself, so you have to know, like, this is my schedule and I'm sticking to it,
yep,
and that'll bring
absolutely.
you success.
Yep. And again, even Erin's been a team leader now a few months, but she can see the difference, right? And monthly with some of the agents on the team, right? You could see consistency of what somebody's doing. And then you,
Mhm.
you could see what's happening versus
Results.
somebody who's not. And you
Right.
can easily see how sometimes people are scatterbrained, scatter organized, like, and then you can look over here and see somebody, and then listings, closings, pendings.
Mhm.
You could tell the clear difference, and a lot of it is consistency and schedule.
Mhm. Yeah.
Basically, that really has a lot to do with that. So, all right. So,
Yep.
where we at? Number 4. You start us with 4.
All right, I've got I don't know if you'll have this one. I don't know what you'll think about this one. I have research your competition. I put it in quotes and then
That's good.
this to kind of go into that. So, looking at the hot sheet, who's doing deals with who in your local market. You want to know who's had expired listings, moved companies, up and comers, things like that, and it'll help you understand the market that you work in. So, and that's daily. It could just be something small. The biggest thing, like for the local agents, would be to just look at the hot sheet, everything on it. So that way you can know what names keep popping up. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. And it'll help you know if that name ever comes up in a competition for a listing or something like that. You'll be able to, you seem more knowledgeable when you know the market that you're in because you are.
Yeah. No, look, this is great. I don't have that on my list. So I'll just say I don't. But that's excellent. Yeah, I'm a firm believer of that. Like research and know your craft, which is real estate in this topic, and then you should know your competition. So I always go back into everything you do. If you think about sports, you think about even the military or even lawyers, anything that's they all have like an intel piece, right? Where they're trying to collect as much intelligence or information to
Mm-hmm.
better help them prepare for whatever it may be. It could be war on the military side, it could be going to court against another attorney, it could be doctors are going to research, right? The sickness or treatments for it, right? To help people combat it
Their
and stay
patience. Mm-hmm.
healthy. You just right. But in real estate, you got agents, and we know that show up daily with no strategy of what they're doing, no thoughts
Mm-hmm.
of how they're going to do it, no consistency, no scheduling. They just randomly do shit. I'm going to market right now, and they market.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the next week, they do no marketing. They don't make any calls. I'm going to call people. They do it for one day. So but in professional environments, people, like you said, they research things to better help them understand their jobs and or how to gain an edge over competition. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be knowing who your competition is and or researching, the market. So
Mm-hmm.
great. That's a great point. I don't think a lot of agents even think that way. So
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
good.
it helps your clients too. So if you're, I mean, like we were saying earlier, all your clients are important. So use that. Use all the extra time that you have to
Mhm.
become a better agent so you can help those clients. You can help your own business is very important. Everything can't hurt. And so whenever you've got time where you're like, I don't know how to fill it, let me do some research. I have all of this information at my fingertips in my local MLS.
Yep.
Look into it. There's all kinds of good info on there.
Yeah, it is,
Market trends.
and even your job too, like
Mhm.
learning about what you're doing, is
Mhm.
great. The more you learn about it, the quicker you get to where you want to be because you understand more and it's going to help you. And like we've always talked about too, is you can't go about doing less in something to get better. It just doesn't happen.
Mhm.
Nothing you
It
do,
won't.
it would never happen. I'm going to do
Yeah.
this less and I expect better results. No. I mean, unless you're talking about eating. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna leave work, you want to eat
Dieting.
less. That's probably what I need to do. Yeah, I mean that would probably be the only I think example. But any career you want to learn it and keep doing it and do more of it to get better.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
um,
Outdo people. If you're trying to improve, you're gonna have to outdo the people around you or try to, because everybody's got their own maximum time limits that they can be there, kids, family,
mhm,
things like that. But to
mhm.
the best of your ability, try to outdo somebody in some way
Yep,
just to get
absolutely
better.
right. Yep, that's right. All right, so my fourth one is you must continuously add people to your database. So you constantly have to build relationships in real estate, talk to people, meet new people, and add them into your database, right? So this is going to help
Mhm.
it grow, help that gives you more opportunities to, have referrals and or listings or buyers. The more people you have and the more in there and the more people you're reaching out to. So,
Mhm.
I think you should do this consistently daily. Try to add at least 5 people in there daily. Um,
Mhm.
and that will help your database grow. And then you still then got to work your database, but ultimately, putting a lot of people in there definitely helps your chances to get more
Mhm.
business. So,
Yep, it
yeah.
does. And that goes into what I was saying earlier about pick that number that works for you and stick
Mhm.
to it and then increase it as you want your business to grow and things like that. Because you always have to be, like we were just saying, getting
Mhm.
better.
Yeah.
But do that. And the reason I keep harping on that is because it's important to set those goals. Otherwise, you're just floating. You're just floating every day.
Yeah.
So if you're saying, I'm going to make this many phone calls or I'm going to add this many people, meet this many, you know, new people
Mhm.
in the area, that kind of thing, do
Yeah.
it, set the goal, and then accomplish it.
Yeah.
and then do more.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a great point that you make. You simplify it,
Hmm.
with tasks or goals, and then you just try to attack them daily, whatever they are.
Hmm.
And that can help you, because real estate could get very, so much to it. And if you're trying to do everything, you really do nothing. You end up accomplishing hardly anything when you're trying to do it all. So that's why we
Hmm.
always teach scheduling and prioritizing, and
Hmm.
you're one of the best that I've ever seen at doing that. And now,
Thank you.
you and I both are trying to keep, teach that. And
Hmm.
majority of our agents are pretty good on our team at
They
prioritizing
are.
and
They
doing
are.
things where they should. So very proud of our team, and
They
they're
are. But it
really.
is the hardest thing whenever you're new because you think that if you
Mhm,
come into it with bad habits from a previous job, whether it was fast food or a professional like type environment, you
mhm,
still might come in with some kind of baggage from where you used to be and what would fly
yep,
there. And so that is one of the harder things for people to get to do is scheduling and then
mhm.
sticking to it. And it just sounds like such a simple task. And
And it's not. We see it.
it's not.
Yeah, we see agents all the time. We have just, when they get a phone call, they'll drop everything for it, and it doesn't
Mhm.
help them. It doesn't need to be done at that moment. Like
Yeah.
you got to learn the emergencies, and then schedule everything how you should versus,
Mhm.
just jumping at everything that comes along.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we're done with four, right?
Yep.
All right, you start number five, right? Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Number 5, I have phone calls. So phone
Hmm.
calls every day, and this can go into a little bit of kind of half of the ones we've talked about so far. Not
Hmm.
just texts, not just emails, and call it a day. Get out of your comfort zone and get told no daily. This is the whole point of the video is doing it daily. So it helps make you stronger as a real estate agent whenever you're getting people on the phone and you're probably going to get cursed out a couple times or or
Hmm.
just have somebody that is just really difficult to talk to, overcoming it, getting them back on track to the overall purpose of the call. Objection handling is the biggest thing, problem solving for these people. um, and you can't do that over text. You really can't. You can make sure it's the right number. And then whenever you get through them later on, they're your client, things like that, you can text them because they know you and scheduling, things like that. But when it comes to capturing them and getting them to be your client, you're gonna have to call them. So do calls daily, not just text, not just emails. And I was guilty of it. Still
Hmm.
am some days. So
Yeah.
we always have to work within ourselves to get better.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a good point too at the end there, that working within ourselves to get better. That's the idea, right? It's just to get better every day. Try to get better at what you're doing, learn something every day, and that helps. And yeah, phone calls. I find it funny that a lot of the agents I've helped coach or train over my time, like they have a hard time calling potential listings, but they're okay calling a Zillow lead. You know,
Hmm.
I don't understand. It's still somebody you don't know. You've got to call, right? And then
Hmm.
the only difference in those and the buyer lead versus seller lead is the seller lead's going to be harder because you got to learn to convince them that you got to list
Hmm.
you and not the other thousands of agents. Buyer leads are pretty emotional. It's pretty easier to get them to work with you as long as you're aggressive with calling them. So I think
Hmm.
that's in the mind of every agent is, well, I know that they're emotional. I can call them if I can get them first. They're
Yep.
probably going to work with me. I don't really have to convince them. They're not going to want to know what I'm going to do for them.
It's fear
You know,
of rejection. That's why
easy.
they don't do it.
It is. Yeah. Being a buyer's agent is way, nothing against buyers. It's just way more easier for those emotionally invested.
Hmm.
Emotionally, it's harder to for some to do listings because it can beat them down. They're going to
Hmm.
get
You
turned
see
down.
Arian's comment over here? He
Oh,
said, he said, don't think too much, just call.
that's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't think that's right, Arian. See? Yeah. I mean, and everybody does it. Like, so when you're, and Arian is another one, right? He came from a different company, full time correctional um, guard, and then he started real estate just cold turkey with us, and then
He went all
you,
in. He fully
you
committed.
he did, and you and I grabbed him, locked him down, couldn't leave his
Hmm.
office or the office, And now look, man, this guy's listed, I don't know, 15 in the last couple of months. I don't know what it is.
We
And
call
high
him
end.
Mr. Luxury now because his
Yep.
like the volume of these listings that he's got just are blowing my mind. I've never listed one as high as what he's got.
Mhm. Yeah, luxury agent,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely. So, and Arian, at the beginning, I think he would probably admit that he was kind of trying to make everything perfect and then make these calls versus just start calling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he says,
He
don't
learned,
keep
yep,
it
he
just
learned it,
call.
and he learned it early on too. So I'll
Yep.
say that there was no
And his
complaints there.
success, it proves you can see it, man. He's listing a lot
Mm-hmm.
of houses and a lot of high end. So,
Yep.
but so yeah, I agree. So phone calls are very important. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, in my lead generating one that's part of it. Calling, you got to call
Mm-hmm.
people, got to follow up. So
Yeah,
phone,
a lot of ours are like partials. Like a lot of them go together because
yeah,
that's why I was
they
over
really
here
do.
looking at to rearrange mine because some of them
Yep.
it's like we already touched on that.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So my fifth one is focus on listings. So I know some people, it's not now as the market slows a little bit, not too much, but it's a little bit, buyers probably will start closing again faster than your listings. Because in the big,
Mhm.
lately it's always been listings and buyer, they're closed at the same time. Soon we put a listing on, we get an offer, and we're moving on,
Mhm.
right? Before you may have a listing for 3 months, then you get an offer. So now you're
Mhm.
waiting that long to get your pay. So it's a lot harder. But as a listing agent, as we know, you're going to make more money and it's more predictable. You know what you're getting paid and
Mhm.
you don't have to do as much running around as a buyer's agent. That's why you and I, when we talk about it as a team, is we've seen agents, every weekend we see them doing these posts like, hey, I'm out here showing houses. I'm out here.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, we as the listing agents are at home with our kids or playing golf,
Grilling or hanging out.
and we're getting the offers, right?
Mhm.
So again, our time is leveraged how we want it. If it's playing golf, if it's, staying at
Mhm.
home, if it's swimming, you can get an offer like I put on here, no matter where you are as a listing agent. You
Mhm.
cannot go show houses wherever you are. You've got to show houses with your buyers on their
Mhm.
time, right?
Yep.
So it doesn't leverage your time and you make less money per hour because of the effort you're putting into it. So I
Yep.
feel bad for agents who are actually bragging about working on the weekends showing houses. I feel bad for them because nobody's teaching them the business. That's
They're
not.
gonna burn themselves out. It's just
Mhm.
like it's going to happen and watching
Yep.
it, for the
Right.
people that like to do the play-by-plays on Facebook all the time of what they're doing, that kind of thing. It's like,
Yep.
I
Hmm.
can see this. I can see this happening. You're going to burn yourself out.
Right.
And a lot of agents do burn themselves out by doing that kind of thing. And
Yep. Yeah, and then they blame the business, but it's because nobody's taught them the business.
mhm.
They think that because they have a deal or they close deals, that's the business, but it's really
Yep.
not. There's way more to it. And if you're not understanding how to leverage your time and stuff, the business is going to run you. And you're going to be really, you know, almost a slave to your business because you have to be involved with driving around all the time and writing offers,
Mhm.
as soon as you understand that. So listings, I believe, should be your focus and
Yeah.
focus quick. And you could do it for free. You just got to find numbers and you got to be able to do certain things and get them to.
And you have to get out of your comfort zone.
Oh yeah,
You've got to do
absolutely.
it. And
Tougher. Yeah.
the listings, it is such a huge thing. And I want to say that that pretty much saved me and I'll get personal with you guys, is because my husband was deployed for 7 months. And I keep bringing it up. I have this 3-year-old, and it was a lot to be,
Yeah.
if I had one buyer, I was like, oh man, how am I going to do this today? I have to pick him up early, go do the showings because a lot of people are only available in the afternoons, go do all these showings. By the time we get home, it's going to be 8 o'clock, can't cook dinner. So that was just for having one buyer. I cannot imagine having
Hmm.
3 and 4 buyers doing that every day of the week and the weekends. Whenever my husband was deployed, that was my peacetime. I
Hmm.
really didn't have to do a whole heck of a lot except for the reactive transactional things for
Yep.
my listings that I can just do on my laptop on the weekends. So
Yeah.
it saved me. I
Yeah.
know
And
that
like,
a
and
lot of
you and I,
people.
when we talk to new agents, right, when they come in, they're like, everybody's got families. I feel like when people come talk to us, they don't realize we have families too, like, or we have kids or
Yeah,
things that we do. Like I'm head coach for Reagan softball. Like, there's a lot of things
right.
we can do. It's not just business, but business. What we have is a big vision of you've got to schedule everything around your livelihood.
Mhm.
Not that one's more important than the other, but if you can schedule your business and then everything around your business, everything really will fall into play. Like I never miss
Mhm.
anything with my kids. I never miss anything with holidays, or I don't. I'm
Mhm.
there. I'm present. I'm available there. But yeah, I don't make an excuse all the time to be away from my business because of something that I have not scheduled
Right.
around business, right? So, but we see that a lot when agents come in, they talk to us like, well, I have a family and, this or that. And so then we
Family
say,
comes
good.
first.
Right. So then we say, good, then we
Like,
want to make you a listing agent.
sure.
We're going to make you right off the bat to leverage
Mhm.
your time. You can be with your family a lot more as a listing agent you can with your as a buyer's agent.
Mhm.
The problem is most people can't be listing agent. It's very hard to be a good listing agent and a top listing agent. You
Mhm.
have to learn and do a lot of objection handling, things like that. So, but that's what we try to get them to do right off the bat. I had another comment too, and I forgot what it was going to be, but it was going to be something about that too. About one was the listings, teach them to be listing agent right away. A lot of agents, um, when they're newer, that's something they give them their time back. But either way, yeah, I mean,
Well, we don't miss out on our family stuff, and we're here at
mhm,
the office, and we're listing agents, so
yep,
we've got the best of both worlds because it's successful on all ends. So, a lot of people think that I don't know, like we just push so hard. Family's not important, they're too
mhm,
hardcore. Just
yeah,
it's the
right,
bar
yeah.
is not, we're not asking for a whole
We
heck
don't
of a
have
lot.
any personal time. Like we don't care about, I heard it from somebody. It was, I can't remember who it was. It might've been Michael Bird or Jay Kinder or one of these top, successful business people. But they were saying, listen, you can have a balanced life. It might've been Grant Cardone. Money is part of your balanced life. Money, health,
Mhm.
relationships, right? Those are all, meaning family and stuff.
Right.
Those are all equally important, but they all have to be equally scheduled important too. Health, you got to plan to work out or eat right. Work, you have to plan your work day, right? And be consistent that way to make money in order
Mhm.
to provide certain things for your relationships, which is your
Right.
family, and then your family stuff has to be scheduled too, in a sense, right? And it's funny because it's weird because I see everybody else understands that when they're an employee, but
Yep.
when they're their own independent contractor real estate, they just throw that out the window. Like when I'm a realtor, I don't have to be there every day. I don't have to be scheduled. I can do this, I can do that. It's almost like when I was in college, and that's why that didn't work for me because I never went to class because I didn't have
Yeah.
to. I didn't study because I didn't have to. I was paying for my own course. If I failed, well, shit. All
Mhm.
right, well, dummy me, but I didn't care, right? In real estate, somehow people come to real estate and that's how they
They
think.
flip it. And they
Yeah,
flip it to where it benefits their time, but not their
yep,
pockets.
it does it. Yeah, and then it ends up hurting the relationships because
Mhm.
now they can't go on a vacation. Now they can't pay for this. Now they don't. Somebody gets sick, they can't
Mhm.
pay to help. There's always a problem. Oh, I have my tire went flat. I can't pay for that. Now, that's
Mhm.
because you're never working in your business. If you
Mhm.
work consistently, you will get it going. But in real estate, they start and that goes out the window. Forget it. I'll
Yep.
work at Johnny's restaurant making $8 an hour Monday through Saturday from 6 to 6. So I get that paycheck to pay bills, but I won't do the same work ethic in my real estate business.
For my own business. Imagine.
Yes.
It's
And
crazy.
making way more money. Like I don't know. What did
Yeah.
Brittany say here? Brittany says pushing hard and wanting to thrive means that you're committed to your business and your clients. That's right.
Mhm.
What I'd want
That's what
from
I'd
my
want from a
yeah,
professional working in my best interest. That's true.
yeah, yeah. And I think
100%.
that's the thing that in our business too that I have to say I don't like is agents aren't honest. with their client. A lot of agents are, I wouldn't say agents general, but a lot of agents are not honest with their clients. They don't go and meet with them and say, hey, by the way, I only go to the office once a week. I don't lead produce. I'm not going to market your house except maybe on my Facebook page. Like they're not honest. They're saying, oh yeah, I could sell it. I could do it because
Yep.
other agents are going to do it, sell it for them. Right. But
Yep.
they're not being
Or they
honest.
won't say that they're only part-time.
Mhm.
Like I
Right.
I have 2 or 3 other jobs that I'm working, that
Right.
kind of thing. But that's the biggest
Mhm.
brag that we have on the team. And
Yep.
a lot of our clients really like to hear that because they start thinking, they're like, you know what? I do know a lot of real estate agents that also have part-time
Mhm.
jobs, things like that. But this chick here, she does it full time. She's
Right.
always doing it. That means she's successful. That, you
Mhm.
know, one brings the other and they work hand in hand, but our clients are going to see that, or potential clients, things like that.
Yep.
I know that
Yeah.
anytime I brought it up, they're like, oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. I was going to say that's a good point. And two is I when I tell people, hey, the reason why our team is as successful as it is, and why it's important to you is we're a full time team. And then some of them are like, I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean you're full time? Well, meaning that we show up to the office every day, like Monday through Friday. We're there every day generating business and are trying to sell the listings and or bring buyers to our listings or other listings, right? So
Mhm.
we're doing it every day. And then a lot of times they'll say, so what you're saying is every agent doesn't do that? And I've had to say, no. I've
No, seems
had
like they would.
Right. You think they would by their social media post,
Mhm.
right? And you and I, Aaron, like I always go back to that story. We're interviewing an agent, and the agent's like, man, so you guys sell like this one agent. And she said her name, and me and Aaron laughed, and it was pretty bad, but we couldn't hold because what she
It was.
thought,
I had to catch myself. I was like,
right? Because she says, what do you mean? And I said, well, that agent sells probably 4 houses a year. Oh, well, on her social media, I mean, it looks like she sells. And I said, well, she's doing a good job there because she's convincing people she sells way
right.
more than she does. But the reality is she doesn't, and that's just numbers. It's not being mean, it's the truth. But that's what I mean is some things are out there presented that's not the clear picture.
Mhm.
And full-time workers is not what we
Yep.
have for the most part. So it's funny. All right. Anything else, Aaron? What do we got?
No, I think that's it. They got some bonus information in there talking
Yeah,
about
we
full
got a lot.
time and that kind.
A lot of bonus information. So we got about what 8 or so because you had a few that I didn't, and I had a few you didn't. So we had about
Yep.
out of the 10, we had a lot of the same ones, and then we got a
Yep.
few
Some
extra.
combination ones.
Right? Yeah, they kind of go together. So,
Mhm.
all right. Well, hopefully this helps some people out there, especially agents. And sometimes we come off a little strong with I guess, our industry, but it's because we're really passionate about it and we want agents to succeed and do right by the general public. And I think the general public has an idea of what we do or myths of what we do and or not do. And
Mhm.
I just like to give the truth and you do too. So but
Yep.
all right. Well, next week we'll have Richard Lamont on from a Movement Mortgage. We'll talk about some loans. I think we're doing conventional loans and things. So that'll be next Thursday. Erin probably on there with me. Maybe she can ask Richard some hard questions. We'll see if he
Full
can
rich.
answer them. Yeah. We'll see if he can answer them. And then we're going to try to do these weekly now, give some good topics and some good information.
Yay.
All right. Anything else?
Nope. That's it.
Nope.
See you next week. No, I'm just
All right.
kidding.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see everybody next week. Stay dry. I don't know if it's raining yet, but I guess it's coming. So, all right.
Yep.
See
Y'all be
everybody.
safe.
Yes. See everybody next week. Bye.
Bye.